Bhagwan Jamba Juno Chupala Sanza Lo Chenye Soda Sojun Jidena Tusuma Shekba Meyes Nagi Malu Deda Tamche La Luda Ngaye Dangwe Saje Sambo Sube Molaman Tobdak Jawa Tamche Yecheng Shingi Dunye Lura Dubai Jawa Kunla Rado Sansa Lo Doche Dena Dunye Sanje Na Sanje Sije Vena Yu Malu Ba Tamje Jawa Take Kangwa Mu Deda Ngaba Mese Jamso Na Yanche Yanla Jamso Jakunje Jawa Kunje Yunde Devara Shekpa Tamche Dagi Do Om Benzara Sado Samaya Mano Palaya Benzara Sado Tino Ba Titra Jedome Sudo Kayo Mebawa Anurado Mebawa Subo Kayo Mebawa Sarva Sede Metrayenza Sarva Karma Sut Siddham Shiri Yang Guru Hongo Ha 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 Ho Banga Vene Sawa Tata Gata Benzara Mame Monza Benz Zando Ai O Benzara Bome A Hongo Jin Nambra Tabo Wanchi Sirje Sash O Benzare Ke A Ho Sechare Koyo Ke Kurve Veso Hongo Reye Jabore Shara Lumba Bo Lo Zambo Le No Balanso San Jamin Shardo Luda Lumba Loro Ngayab Da Ngayab Jin Nodo Yoten Da Lam Chon Jo Sando Jamin Yen Da Jamin Yen Rinpoche Ye Rewo Pasam Je Shin Donjo Ye Pa Mamu Pa Ye Lo Tong Kolo Rinpoche Norwo Rinpoche Sumo Rinpoche, Lombo Rinpoche, Lambo Rinpoche, Tamcho Rinpoche.
My dear Dharma friends, I would like to speak to you all that today the Tibetan Buddhist tradition to which there had been great restriction and oppression from the communist Chinese. But despite that, due to the strong faith and devotion of the Tibetan people and passion for our tradition and culture, this Dharma tradition of Tibet has not declined and it has not become diluted as well, but everyone has worked hard for that, the preservation of it. But today, not only Tibetans, but even amongst Chinese people, there are an increasing number of people taking interest in our tradition. And not only that, but even in other places, other parts of the world where Buddhism didn't used to be traditional religion, people take interest in our tradition, and particularly scholars, scientists who are related with neuroscience and psychology. They pay special attention to the explanation in our tradition of the workings of mind, the system of mind and emotions. And therefore, this Tibetan Buddhist tradition, with regard to that subject of psychology, today there are people who are non-believers taking interest in this tradition. Many scientists come to me to learn about, to ask about the psychology that is taught in our tradition, and also with regard to reality of things, which we say that there's nothing that that can be pinpointed as being this or that if you try to search for the identity of things and beings. And in our tradition, what we do is combine bodhicitta and the understanding of emptiness. So, with regard to emptiness, though things appear to us as if they have some independent objective existence, but yet, if you try to search for their identity, there you cannot find anything that you can pinpoint as being this or that. And so in Buddhism, it is said that everything in the world, all phenomena, exist merely by way of designation and nominally. So even scientists are taking interest in this tradition that we have. As a Buddhist monk, as soon as I get up in the morning, I reflect on bodhicitta, the altruistic spirit of awakening, and also the reality of things, that is emptiness. And so these two principles are very important. So with bodhicitta, what it does is it overcomes the self-cherishing attitude and cherishes others over oneself. And so that we consider other sentient beings close to our heart. And we think of benefiting others, all sentient beings. As it is said in the prayer, I should generate this spirit of enlightenment to fulfill one's own as well as others' goals. And so bodhicitta makes you happy, and that brings about physical health as well. And so the more you are altruistic to help others, the more you feel relaxed, and so you feel at ease. So it makes a big difference in one's mind. So bodhicitta is very beneficial. So you have peace of mind that in turn helps your physical health as well. So if you are filled with arrogance, jealousy, and so forth, then you are not happy. You can see in the world through these destructive negative emotions, which is based on also rooted in our self-cherishing attitude, then what happens in the world is we cause wars and battles and kill people. And so when we are overpowered under the sway of our self-cherishing attitude, we cause harm to others through wars and battles and so forth, killing. So we talk about freedom, rights, and so forth, but deep in our heart, we are always very selfish. And so peace will not fall from the sky. What disturbs peace in the world is our mind. So if you have this sense of cherishing others over oneself, being altruistic, automatically peace will come. And therefore, karuna or compassion is the true cause of peace and happiness. So karuna, when we say karuna, it's not only talking about some good heart, but that also is developed on the basis of understanding that things do not exist the way they appear to us, that they do not have any objective, independent existence. So when you combine these two principles, compassion or bodhicitta and the view of emptiness, you have great peace in your mind, and also it helps to look, it helps to think of serving others. So I have studied the Buddhist scriptures since my childhood, and then having integrated teaching within myself, I have found that it brings peace in mind, and that in turn brings about good health for myself. And so this is the best means for one's longevity. And so the more you are able to hold others dear to your heart, the better your peace of mind, and also this understanding of emptiness automatically brings insight into it, automatically brings peace of mind, and also that is the best means for one's long life and physical health as well. So, of course, we as Buddhist practitioners, our aim is Buddhahood, liberation, Buddhahood, by practicing bodhicitta and emptiness. But even in terms of peace of mind and good health, in this life, these two principles are very beneficial. So I have discussions with many educated people, educators, and scientists. So through these discussions with them, I've found that Buddhism is not about just praying to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, but we should think about the bodhicitta and emptiness, which brings about ease of mind, and also it helps for our longevity. And so the teaching of the Buddha with regard to compassion and also emptiness, shunyata, which says that things do not exist by way of their own essence. So these are very beneficial teachings, even for non-believers. It brings peace or relaxed state of mind, and that in turn helps for their long life. So these are very helpful. So to all my Dharma friends here, the teachings of the Buddha, whether you believe in the Buddhist philosophy or not, if you can pay attention to the teachings on psychology that is found in Buddhism, you will have peace of mind and also your good health. So when you have peace of mind within, you will be able to create peace around you and peace in the world. Because what destroys our peace is the jealousy, anger, and so forth. So because of these, the First World War and Second World Wars have happened, and people have also prepared for the Third World War as well. And so these have been done based on a self-cherishing attitude, and that shows the lack of cherishing others over oneself. So everywhere in the world, people talk about peace, peace. But peace must be developed within ourselves. It does not fall from the sky. So whether you are a believer, believe in religion or not, or believe in Buddhism or not, so we have to understand that we should bring There's a relaxed state of mind, ease of mind within ourselves. Through the understanding of the workings of our mind. Even Chinese talk about peace. So peace does not fall from the sky, it must be created within our mind. So Buddhism, in particular, the Nalanda tradition, uses reason and logic to bring about peace of mind. And so we are not only talking about blind faith in the Buddha, so we should know what disturbs our peace of mind and tackle that by understanding the workings of our mind and emotions. So this, whether they are believer or not in a religion, I've been talking to people that we need love and compassion. It is very important for us to think about love and compassion. So many people appreciate my teachings. And therefore, today in the world, people are there is a newfound interest in the teaching of the Buddha when they study about the workings of our mind and emotions. So in Tibet, we had the past emperors who invited the teaching of the Buddha to our land and translated the words of the Buddha and its commentarial treatises written by Indian masters. And so we have the tradition of studying these texts. And in order to, as part of our study, we use logic and reason. So all the Tibetan Buddhist traditions, Sakya Nyingma Gyaluk Kagyu, and so forth, combine the study of logic with Madhyamaka philosophy. So we have preserved this tradition, this rich, profound tradition in our own land, Tibet, in the past. But in today's world, we do not need to share this tradition with people who are only believers, whether believers or not. Everyone wants peace of mind. We should share this tradition with everyone. And so today we are gathered here. All the different Tibetan Buddhist traditions, the lamas, yeshis, and also students of philosophy and logic have gathered here. So please keep this in mind. And we have people from different lands, different countries. There are, we have Dharma friends. So with regard to the workings of our mind, psychology, it's the same, whether you are a believer or non-believer. So when you think from the point of view of psychology, we can understand that everyone is same. So there may be different terminologies that are used by different traditions, but the Tibetan Buddhist tradition has these teachings and message of love and compassion. So this is our treasure, cherished treasure, with which we can serve the world. So please keep this in mind. We have lost our country, we have lost our freedom, but if we think on the main point, we have more increasing number of Chinese taking interest in our tradition. So people learn from our tradition. So we who are in India, we have friends of Tibet around the world who find that Tibetans are people who are calm and peaceful and not ones who are always disturbed emotionally. And so all of us, with regard to the tradition, Tibetan culture and spirituality, even on our individual level, with this tradition that we have more peace of mind, we have better sleep. If you are disturbed, mentally disturbed, emotionally disturbed, you lose your sleep. And so, with this relaxed state of mind, we make this prayer. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, may I remain to dispel the misery of the world. So we have this determination to work for the sentient beings until the space this comes to an end, to work for their well-being and happiness. So do your best to serve the teaching, the Buddhist tradition of Tibet, which is related with our day-to-day life as well. So Dharma is not only about doing some rituals, playing some musical instruments, but to bring peace of mind within ourselves. So compassion, love and compassion, regarding that, first of all of us who are born from our mothers know that mother's compassion and care, loving care that she has given to us has been very important. So we began our life under that kind of circumstance where our mother has given the maximum love and compassion towards us. And so this we should not forget at all, because love and compassion should be our way of life. It should be an integral part of our life. And so please keep this in mind. Of course, Tibetans would do that, should do that. Even non-Tibetans and also non-Buddhists and non-believers, all of us should not forget the love and compassion that we have learned from our mother. So we should keep this throughout our life. And even at our death, at the time of death, this love and compassion, if you are surrounded by people with love and compassion towards you, you will also be able to die peacefully. When you, otherwise, if you are full of anger, jealousy, and all these negative emotions, it will be very difficult to die a peaceful death. So when you are full of love and compassion, and you are surrounded by friends who are also doing the same, when your mind ceases to function in this life, you leave this life, you will be peaceful. And even if you don't believe in next life, you'll still be able to feel the peace. And when you die, so for those who believe in religion, and you'll be able to pass through in that kind of peaceful state of mind, and there's a help in the next life as well. So please keep this in mind and do your best. So we have here many monastics. So all the Tibetan Buddhist traditions, and we are all followers of the same teacher. So many great masters, learned and adept, have come through these different traditions. So we have the same potential. So now I've been requested to give teaching on the 8 verses of mind training. So Geshe Langri Tangpa was someone who was incredible, who practiced bodhicitta. He wasn't playing any musical instruments and so forth, but he was someone who practiced bodhicitta throughout his life, day and night. So Geshe Langri Tangpa was a great bodhisattva, and his text, these 8 verses of mind training, so interested people have requested me to give teaching on it. I recite this text every day. As soon as I wake up, I meditate on bodhicitta and emptiness. And for bodhicitta, I use this text to meditate on bodhicitta, this altruistic awakening mind. And then I recite lines from Madhyamaka Avatara and to meditate on emptiness as well. So I can see the effects of these teachings within myself. Through, as it is said by Shantideva, there's nothing that doesn't become easier through familiarization. So if you persevere and familiarize with these practices, these teachings, there's something that you can see as the effect. So Dharma is not about playing musical instruments or doing some rituals and prayers, but really thinking and reflecting on this bodhicitta and emptiness and so forth. Chizumila Repa, for example, was a true practitioner. He wasn't playing the drums or cymbals and so forth. So if someone playing these musical instruments, perhaps it will irritate Chizumila Repa. It would have irritated him. So he meditated on bodhicitta and the view of emptiness, living in silence. So perhaps Chizumila Repa would appreciate that silence and practice of bodhicitta and emptiness. So if you were to play musical instruments in front of him, he would feel irritated and ask you to leave, perhaps. And so we should be true practitioners of the Dharma. So as the purpose of religion is to have peace, to develop peace of mind. When I met Mao Zedong during my last meeting with him, first he expressed his appreciation to me, and then at the end he said, religion is poison. But if Mao Zedong were alive today, I think he would be a Buddhist. So those who consider religion as poison, of course, it will not help them. But here we are talking about bodhicitta as the main practice of the Dharma. And with this bodhicitta, we will have a peaceful state of mind, sanity, and also good health. So we have this great beneficial teaching. We praise the Buddha, saying the Buddha's body was created from millions or billions of good karmas, good practices. And so, with that kind of body, the Buddha's speech is something through which he taught us the profound and vast teachings which fulfill the wishes and desire of sentient beings. who are limitless in number. And so, in order to be able to do that, the Buddha must have realized everything as it is, the nature of things, clearly and precisely, and therefore understand the predispositions, mental dispositions of sentient beings, and was able to teach accordingly. And so, such was our teacher, the Buddha. So, not only for this life, but throughout our life, we should be able to help sentient beings, numerous number of sentient beings. And the Buddha was someone who also had full knowledge of everything precisely. And so, when you recite this kind of verse, you should think of, you are praising the Buddha in terms of his body, his speech, and his mind. And not only should you appreciate these qualities of the Buddha, but you should also put them into practice, the teaching of the Buddha into practice, and therefore become a true follower of the Buddha. So, on the basis of the practice of the three trainings, morality, concentration, and wisdom, and if you are able to develop bodhicitta and the insight into emptiness quite well, then if you go into tantric practice, it'll be a good qualified practice of tantra. You'll be able to make it a true tantric practice. Otherwise, if you lack bodhicitta and the insight into emptiness, tantric practice would not be a genuine tantric practice. Of course, tantric practice is something that we should do in secrecy. So all of us should do our best to serve the teaching of the Buddha that is with us, this Tibetan Buddhist tradition. So this teaching of the Buddha is practiced by the Sakyang Nyingma Gelu Kagyu Chonang and even Burn tradition. So when you talk about preserving the teaching of the Buddha, it's not like preserving or keeping some possession, but to keep that in our mind and spirit, to integrate the teaching within ourselves. So Geshe Langre Tangpa was an incredible master. I've received the transmission of this text and recite it every day. It's really beneficial to my mind. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the fish fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. So from achieving higher rebirth up to the attainment of Buddhahood, all of this must come in dependence on sentient beings, and therefore these precious sentient beings are even more surpassing than wish-fulfilling gem. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest among all, and from the very depth of my heart respectfully hold others as superior. So, of course, those who have belief in religion, but even the non-believers, with whomever we interact or associate, we should not despise them, we should not look down upon them, but we should be respectful to them, respect them all. So whenever I interact or associate with someone, may I view myself as the lowest of all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others superior. So talking about lowest, viewing myself as the lowest among all, of course, as monastics, we should remind ourselves that the way we carry on with our life is more like a false monastic. But you should remind yourself that you should not be like that. You should not be superficial in your practice of the Dharma, and which in all my deeds may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. So, with regard to this mental disturbing afflictions, of course, we talk about 84,000 different types of mental afflictions, but they can be summarized or to put into a short list. We have the 6 primary and 20 secondary afflictions. So we should not let ourselves be carried away by them or overpowered by them. When I see beings of unpleasant character oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. So these poor sentient beings, and also people who are very rude and cruel, when you meet such people, those who have a very crude and rude mind, and also arrogant, you should especially reflect on love and compassion towards them. Feel love and compassion towards them. So people full of jealousy and arrogance, pride, we should try to help them to reduce their pride and arrogance or anger, jealousy. So Mao Zedong, I became very good friends with Mao Zedong, and he was very kind to me. So I think if Mao Zedong had lived still longer, so through my talk, I feel that I could change his mind with regard to bodhicitta and the view of emptiness. So Buddhism is not only about faith and saying I take refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, but we can actually use logic and reason to generate these experiences so that the teaching doesn't remain in mere words, empty words. Verse number 4, done. So when you see poor sentient beings, we should feel more compassionate and love towards them. And on a daily basis, you should also make this prayer as long as space endures and as long as sentient beings remain. May I too abide to dispel the misery of the world, to overcome, to cure the disease of the sentient beings with regard to physical and mental diseases. And so you should have that kind of a determination to work to benefit other sentient beings and have. So bodhicitta gives you that courage and determination to work as long as it's needed. So I meditate on bodhicitta really intensely and on the basis of equaling, exchanging self with others. So in my childhood, I didn't have much love or compassion towards these flies and ants and so forth. And especially when I have a good sleep and the mosquito comes by, buzzing, and then I would catch it. And so slowly, as I thought more about love and compassion, I began to feel that I will not harm any sentient being, but I'll serve any and all sentient beings. So this has not come without effort, without training my mind. It has come through training my mind. It has not come about through some recitation of lines, like a mechanical recitation, but using the Jong practice, I found that it's possible to transform oneself. So this is my practice, and I would like to request you also to practice bodhicitta to the best of your ability. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer others the victory. When someone whom I have helped, verse number 6, or in whom I have placed great hopes, mistreat me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. So this has to do with the practice of Tonglen, giving and taking. So this helps to reduce the strength of intensity of your pride and arrogance, as well as anger. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly, secretly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the strains of the eight mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusion, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. So whether it's your near and dear ones or your Dharma friends, and also even those who are negative towards the Dharma, you should feel especially kind and love and compassion towards them. So this love and compassion are very precious. As I said earlier, if Mao Zedong were still alive, perhaps through my interaction with him, I may have been able to make him my Dharma friend, so we can talk. So we could have talked and this could have happened. So we should not look down upon others or disregard others, disrespect others, but we should think of benefiting others. So the Chinese communists who are very negative towards the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, I mean, even they are same like us in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. So they are worth our love and compassion. We should not discriminate them, saying that they are enemies of our doctrine. But their ignorance and also other negative emotions like attachment, anger, and so forth, we should work and put effort to change people's minds. And I have noticed that more and more Chinese are taking interest in Buddhism, so they no more call me Dalai Lama, the reactionary Dalai Lama, anymore. So many Chinese friends admire me. Now, in order to be able to help others, serve others through the Dharma, one should help oneself first with the Dharma. integrate the teaching within oneself. Of course, we are at such a time where the Dharma is at its low ebb, declining, but the practice that we are doing serves as a condition or cause for others to appreciate this teaching and take interest in it. So as soon as I wake up in the morning, I meditate on love, bodhicitta, and emptiness. And when I go to sleep, also, I meditate on these two principles. So you here are my Dharma friends, and especially the monastics. While wearing these monastic robes, if you remain like ordinary people, the worldly people, that's not worth. That doesn't make you worthy of the monastic robes. So you should practice the three trainings. You should be peaceful, calm, and also in your speech, you should be gentle when you explain the Dharma to others. So that's all for today. Thank you very much.